Before we hit the road on today's discussion, I want to express our sincere gratitude to our sponsors. Without their support, this podcast wouldn't be possible. So, a big shout out to our investors, Advanced Training Systems, Averett, Forward Air, Walmart, XPO Logistics, and the National Transportation Institute. Thank you for your commitment in advancing the trucking community. So, buckle up and get ready for an insightful journey into all things next-gen trucking, your road to the future. Hey, welcome to NGT Talks. And I am very excited to have the guests on the show today that we do. And we're going to talk about this company, Usher Transport. We're going to talk about who they are, why they believe so strongly in raising up the next generation, and talk to Dave Powell, who is the NTTC Grand Champion driver. And so welcome to the show, both of you.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Yes, thanks for having us, Lindsey.
So, Beau, tell me a little bit about you, how you got into trucking. It's not what you originally started doing, but you've been doing it for a while now. We'd love to hear your story.
Sure. So no original plans to be in trucking, which I've found over the years is somewhat common. But yeah, started at age 21 with the Kentucky State Police, and really had planned to be in law enforcement my entire life. I mean, it stems back to being a child, but worked for KSP out in Western Kentucky for 6.5, almost 7 years, and I think the good Lord had other plans for me and my family, and I actually met Usher Transport while investigating a collision out in Western Kentucky, and David Guest, which is a huge industry advocate, now our chief financial officer, met him during that accident investigation, and come to find out he had taken a similar career path from law enforcement into the industry side of trucking, and really kind of opened my eyes to what was possible for somebody with my skill set, and kind of encouraged me to start looking, and I did, and ended up working for YRC and USF Holland out of Nashville, Tennessee, and then the career just kind of progressed from there, and eventually, as you know now, came full circle, and I'm back at Usher Transport, which is kind of what started it all. So love being a part of it. It's been very fruitful, and it's a good career. It's taken very good care of my family, and I'm thankful to have wound up at a very ethically sound company like Usher Transport, who puts people first. So proud to be a part of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. It just took that one person kind of mentoring you and showing you the way about the trucking industry.
That's right. Yeah. And, I knew trucking. I'd been around trucking and associated with trucking through law enforcement. But like a lot of the population, I don't think I truly understood its importance for the nation, and how vital it was to our success, et cetera, and I think that's a common theme even now today. I think COVID shed a little bit of light on its importance, but overall, I mean, I think I was a little blind to it, admittedly. But yeah, thank goodness, I was in the right place at the right time, and I left in 2015, so I've been out of it as long as I was in it at this point. But yeah, it's been very good for me.
Very awesome. Good. Well, Dave, how about you? How did you get into trucking, and how long have you been into trucking?
Well, I started driving in 2001, and I did not set out to be a truck driver either. I actually went to a vocational school my junior and senior year for machine trades, tool and die, and I was working in I worked in several different machine shops, and I loved the work, but I soon found out 50, 60 hours inside the same four walls, I wasn't wired for that. So my dad actually drives a truck. He's pushing 30 years into it now, and he helped me get into it. The company he started with, he's still with today, Gordon Food Service, which was my first job. They had an opening. I always like driving. I operated some farm equipment on my grandpa's small farm when I was younger. Uh, I was a volunteer firefighter for about 10 years. I joined that when I was 18. And it was funny, all the old guys on the fire department always wanted me to drive. I was the youngest one, but I just kind of had a natural ability, I guess.
Yeah.
So I started with Gordon Food Service in 2001. I worked for them for about 5 years. Had one other company job for Dayton Freight Lines. I liked that job a lot, but I wanted a little bit more, and I wanted to own my own truck. So in 2006 is when I became an owner operator, and I ran over the road for a couple years. And it was 2008, I believe, is when I got into the fuel hauling, pulling a tanker. And I've done that almost since. For a short time, I hauled steel back in 2008 when the economy kind of took a downturn. So the steel business found me, which I like doing that a lot, but I always loved hauling petroleum products. So
Yeah. And isn't this your truck behind you?
yes, this is my truck. That's what I drive up and down the road every day.
What do you like about owning your own business?
Well, I can drive what I want to, as you see. I mean, you buy your own truck. Obviously, there's financial gains to it. There's also a lot of responsibility and headache at time, but it gives you more flexibility. And it's a long game, but you build equity in like your equipment. You have just a lot more freedom. It gives me a little bit larger sense of pride for what I do.
Yeah, and you mentioned that you didn't want to be in four walls and just go to the same place every day. Is that one of the things that you like about being a driver, is that windshield time you get?
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, 60 hours in a truck compared to 60 hours in a factory type setting is night and day difference. You get to see, I mean, every day's ultimately different, even if I'm delivering the same gas stations, every weather, all kinds of things. It's different, and it really makes the day go by a lot faster.
Absolutely. Well, and you work for Usher Transport, which is a very well-respected company that's in the industry. Beau, tell me a little bit about Usher, and really, you all are very supportive of Next Generation and Trucking Association and the mission that we're on. But you can't even hire the drivers for a while, right? Tell me about your all's vision in getting young people to get into the industry. I would just love to hear that vision that you all have.
Yeah, so I mean, like all other trucking companies, I mean, our key to success is good truck drivers. Professional truck drivers. We don't move freight without them. It's the key to success. So this is absolutely an aging workforce. I think that's a well-known problem in the industry, and it appears that the next generation is less and less attracted to blue-collar type trucking jobs and things of that nature, and it's more of an IT-driven type world. But I think it's a misconception. There's a lot of IT involved in these trucks now, and I think it offers good, lucrative careers, well-paying jobs that can provide very well for their families. And I think we're a little bit outside of the norm in the fact that we've got a long line of drivers wanting to come to our company because we're, like you said, Lindsey, well established in the industry. Been around for about 80 years now, but there's no doubt about it. I mean, we've got to have more influx of younger drivers coming in to the industry and getting interested in what we do for us to be successful. without quality drivers, our company doesn't succeed. So, and that's not just truck driving jobs. I mean, we're vividly focused on truck drivers, but there's a lot of other things in trucking that's important too. There's risk management jobs, operations, maintenance technicians. I mean, you name it, IT. There's a lot of opportunity in trucking. So we're driver focused. We're withheld a little bit and have some restraints due to years of experience and things like that currently through, regulatory requirements that keep us from getting some younger drivers. But I know, Lindsey, your organization's done a lot of good work to promote younger drivers and a lot of legislative work to help us to overcome some of those difficulties currently. And I think that's the trend that we need to see continue and more focus on getting quality candidates in here at a younger age and making them understand that, the sky's the limit with trucking. They can make a good quality career just like Dave Powell's doing and me, myself, and so many others. Our company is comprised of 30 and 35-year drivers, maybe more than any other company in the country. But those guys are going to retire. So it's vital that we start working towards the future.
Yeah. And I think a tank hazmat job is a pinnacle job for a driver. Dave, what attracted you to want to be a hazmat tanker driver?
The responsibility is one thing. I like to have I don't want to say a difficult job, but there's a lot more than just driving when it comes to delivering gas and diesel. Beau can attest. He sees all the claims and stuff. You have to be sharp. You have to be on your A game. It's very fast paced is another reason. I load my own truck. I unload my own truck. There's no sitting around in the dock waiting on dock workers getting back from lunch or appointment times necessarily. It's a very fast-paced job. If I pull into the loading rack and there's no one there, I can be in and out with a fully loaded trailer, paperwork in hand, 20 minutes. I mean, that's how fast it is. So there's the speed of it, and there also is the home time. I'm home nightly, hauling gas. You are. It is a shift that you work. You're not spending a week out, 2 weeks out. I haven't. Well, let me put it this way: since I've been with Usher Transport, that's 11 years, a little over 11 years now. The sleeper on my semi I've used one time when I did hurricane relief, hauling fuel like down south back in 2017, and I did that voluntarily. So that's the only time that sleeper's been used.
Yeah, so you're loving being home every night, and that's one of the things that we are trying to get across to young people, their parents, is not every trucking job is over the road. There's you said Gordon Food Service, there's food delivery, there is fuel delivery, and these jobs are great jobs, and they're home every night. And so there's a lot of opportunities where you can be home every night and be a driver and be your own boss, be out there on the road. I bet you do a lot of customer service, fuel hauling. And how does that? Are you building relationships with the people that you haul to?
Absolutely. Every day is different, but we see a lot of. I mean, we have the same customer base. I've gotten in with customers where they will give me the gate codes to get into their secure facility. Once I've built that relationship, to get them their fuel and accommodate my schedule if something happens. There is a lot of interaction between customers and even the people at the loading facilities. You run multiple loads in a day. You're in and out of the truck. So I interact with a lot of people over the course of the day compared to, maybe just one pickup and one drop.
Yeah. And yet again, a lot of responsibility for what you're doing day in and day out. Beau, so you've worked for Usher for a while. How do you like what you do, and a lot of people don't know that there's a job like yours that exists. Tell us a little bit about what you do for Usher.
Yeah, so I'm the Chief Risk Officer, which essentially means I manage all the risk mitigation and risk management department for the company. Um, we've got about 300 trucks, so there's a lot of moving pieces to this business. And the products we haul are pretty volatile and can be dangerous if handled improperly, So my primary focus is driver training and compliance with regulatory agencies, the EPA, DOT, FMCSA, you name it. We cross a lot of different barriers, and the focus of my job is getting drivers home safely every single night, and that's the goal. And now that entails a lot of different activities from monitoring videos, in-cab videos, driver training, remedial training. A lot of things go into that, but ultimately, it's a people business. Safety is a people business. I don't think it's always viewed that way, but it's working with their drivers and contractors to develop solutions to problems within the industry. And I think it's always better to do that collectively rather than building walls and creating a us versus them type mentality, which certainly does exist in a lot of companies, but I'm very thankful that that's not the case here. In fact, I think some of the best and biggest solutions we've had to a lot of the problems we faced have been helped and solved by driver collaboration. So, if I had to sum it up, I think it's a big team effort, and it's problem solving and working with people. Is the most important aspects of the job, and I think we do that very well here.
Yeah, it's a great field for people to get into, and a lot of people don't know about safety and the risk and just managing all of that for a company. So Dave and I got acquainted through the NTTC, which is the National Tank Truck Carriers, and also through Future Farmers of America. So for the last 2 years, this will be our third in a couple months, we have had a booth at the National FFA Convention. And in that booth, we have a driver simulator, and we've got VR headsets where you can change the oil in a truck. But we also have 3 drivers from the NTTC Grand Champion drivers and the finalists, right? And then there's the one Grand Champion. And so this year, we're excited to announce that Dave is the Grand Champion driver for NTTC, and he'll be at FFA with us this year. Dave, what was it like to win Grand Champion driver?
Amazing. I doubt there's a truck driver running up and down the roads that ever thinks when they start driving, they're going to be somehow rise to a platform that's this big. It's humbling, to sit there and think, all I've done is done the job right, when no one's looking. And 23 years later, I was named the Grand Champion in all of the nation. So it's a huge honor. It's still is a little unreal when I think about it, honestly.
Yeah. So what kind of things are you doing at being the Grand Champion driver?
Well, when I'm asked that question, the first thing that comes to mind, which has been my favorite, is the FFA convention, because that is an awesome event. I'm so glad for the invite last year. I'm looking forward to it this year. 70,000 attendees, kids from all across the nation. And it's the way I define the FFA. I don't know who liked it more, the kids or myself, because when I came home the very first day, it almost reinvigorated the passion in me for this industry. I mean, it was so refreshing to talk to all these kids that, they may not want to be truck drivers, but 99% of them, when we talked to them, they had a vision for their future. they had a career path. They were pretty laser focused on what they wanted to do when they graduated, and it just put the biggest smile on my face. It was a great experience, and that's probably been the number one thing. But of course, I get to attend Tank Truck Week, the annual conventions. There's probably, I'm not too many months into being the grand champion, so there's probably things I want to do that I don't even know about.
You don't even know yet. You don't even know. Yeah, these kids are amazing, right? We had a guy a few years ago that he was 15 and he was rebuilding a Peterbilt. I remember last year we had a student. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. He wanted to haul cattle and own his own truck and haul cattle in his truck. And so a lot of these kids have driven on the farm already. They know how to drive and they're 16 years old.
Yeah.
So it is really fun to get to interact with these students. And was there anything that surprised you about your interaction with the students?
It was an awesome experience. And in 23 years of driving, last year is the very first time I was ever in a driving simulator. And I will attest, it is so much more lifelike than what I thought it would be. And it was amazing to watch some of these kids that there was a whole group of them, all from one chapter, and they were kind of competing with one another. And it was a young girl, 16 years old, that whipped all the guys' butts. You know, I mean, she drove that truck, and yeah, you could tell there's definitely been some on the farm, at home experience. So it was so much fun to watch. Like I said, I think we all had a lot of fun there.
Yeah, it's one of the weirdest things to explain because you're absolutely exhausted, but you're just like so excited and so ready to go again the next day because it's just a fun event. It's fun to be around these students. If there is a young person that maybe says, you know what, I want to be a truck driver, what would you say to that young person in just giving them advice?
It's a great career path. As I said, I went to a vocational school. I'm the type of person, my work needs to be tangible. So when I worked at the machine shop, like I said, it was very precise work. I liked the nature of the work. I just didn't really like the environment, so to speak. But by all means, go for it. The FMCSA just, we're a year into the SDAP program. We're, 18, 19, 20-year-olds they have to be vetted. There's a whole application process, but you can start driving a truck out of state now. It's possible. I've read up some on it. Get on the FMCSA's website. They have a list of carriers that's approved for this program. And the beauty of this program, I've been saying it for years, we lose, that segment we lose, 18 to 21. Lots of people they start a career during those years. And with this program implemented now, it's a pilot program, and I hope it gets picked up once all the data comes in. But the beauty of it is you can get your experience if you're in a program like this. When you're young, you can see the nation, travel, and you'll see America, but you'll also see like the authenticity of America. When you travel, when I ran over the road, I went to New York City almost weekly, but I've never been to Manhattan. I've never been on Times Square. I've been on Flatbush Avenue getting 3 pallets of meat pulled off the tail end of my trailer. But I'm from a small town in Ohio, and I'm looking around, I'm like, this is really New York, So you get to see, you'll go to places and capture a very good snapshot of the reality of other areas.
I love that, because one of the things I know young people are interested in travel and seeing the country, and this is a way to do it. It's really like a tiny house on wheels, right? I mean, in your truck, you don't spend the night there, but what kind of amenities could you have in your truck if you were going out to California?
Oh gosh, I mean, I did a lot of years ago, and obviously technology's grown a lot from 20 years ago. But back then, I had a flat screen TV like mounted on the side of my sleeper, you know, a DVD player. You know, friends of mine that spend more time on the road. One friend of mine has a coffee pot, microwave. He's got a printer in there to print out some paperwork that he may need throughout his job. So
Refrigerator?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've got one of those in my truck now, just because I take my lunch most of the time.
Nice. Yeah. You know what I was thinking would be really fun is to be able to play video games with your friends, and you can connect with them, right? Over headsets.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I know without a doubt that happens, and for the younger generation, like back to the 18 to 20-year-olds, you can gain that experience at that age through the SBAT program and have that experience. And by the time you're 21, 22, you can come into a job doing exactly what I'm doing, home every night, at the kind of the upper end of the transportation industry, working for some of the best rates, the best wages, and you're home. I mean, you're home every night, and that can be obtained at a very, very young age.
And you own your own truck.
Yes. I was 26 whenever I purchased my truck, but it happens younger than that. I'm happy to say just a few months ago we had a new hire onto our Indianapolis team, and I'm very glad he finally took the youngest position on our team away from me. He's 24 years old, and he's been an owner operator since he's been 21.
Wow.
And 24 years old, great young man. He got his license through Amazon. He actually worked in an Amazon warehouse, and they have a program to, get people their CDLs, and he went through it. He's bought a truck. He's doing the exact thing I was just saying. Start doing young, and bang, he's there. He owns a truck. 24 years old. Been owned a truck for a couple years now.
That's awesome. I love to hear stories about that, about young people knowing what they want to do and going for it, and getting into the industry. And now he's on your team, and now you're not the youngest one anymore. So that's a bonus too.
Yes. And another good thing about driving, a lot of people will say it can be a lonely career path, and there's some validity to that. However, I have a different takeaway from that. When I was younger, before I started driving with Gordon Food Service, I was a little shy, backwards, and I started with Gordon. I had about 60 to 70 stops on my route per week, and they were anywhere from dealing with people that could be, my grandmother at school cafeterias, or even encountering some language barriers at, different restaurants and stuff. And it helped bring my social maturity, or helped me mature socially, I should say. It really kind of brought me out of my skin, made me a lot more confident to talk with people, and it really just it's made me a better person. My communication skills. When you're forced to do that, when you're the driver delivering someone's product, whether it be food, gas, you are the first point of contact for that person. If they have a problem, if they need something, you're standing there right in front of them. Like, you're going to be, it might not be your position to fix it, but you are the liaison to go back to your company, the supplier, whoever, and handle that thing. And to me, I think truck driving can really build communication skills and confidence. So it can be a lonely job depending on your take of it, but it can also help you blossom as well.
I rode around with a Gordon food service driver for the day, and one thing I loved about it is we got lunch, and we had multiple people offering us food. So that's a perk that you don't really know about. I wonder, do they offer you like drinks at a gas station sometimes?
Yes, I do, and I will attest. When I worked for Gordon Food Service, I ate for free 5 days a week, every day I worked. But yes, you do build those relationships. I have customers I deliver to. Grab a drink on your way out. Do you want anything? A slice of pizza, or whatever they might have in the convenience store. So yes, there's perks like to any job. But yeah, you build those relationships up, and it's a great thing. I love it.
Beau, what do you see as the future of the industry?
There's some challenges out there, as we all know. The truck driver shortage is certainly one of them. So it's amazing what you're doing, Lindsey, with your organization, and Dave too. Dave holds an important title now. I think it comes with a level of responsibility to be an advocate for the industry, and I think he's using his time well as grand champion. But there's some things lurking out there: tort reform and rising insurance cost, things that haunt a lot of different companies. But what I know, to be factual, is that trucking has to exist for this country to be successful. Mm-hmm. And Usher is a resilient company. We've been around through a lot of things over the last 80 years, and that's we're not unique to that. There's a lot of good companies in this country that are going to continue to do the right thing day after day, and make sure that our nation gets what its supplies, whether it be bulk liquid cargo, hazmat, or commercial goods going to all our retail stores. It's going to prevail ultimately, because it has to. And the ATA, I've heard the ATA say it many times, like, if you're wearing it, touching it, eating it, drinking it, using it in capacity, it came on a truck, right? Mm-hmm. And that's something, when you really start to think about that, it's 100% true. Everything was delivered on a truck. So it has no choice but to be successful. And much thanks to NextGen and NTTC, ATA, all these agencies that are advocating on behalf of the industry and making sure that future looks good and bright. And I think that the things like the driver shortage will come to an end as more knowledge gets out to this younger generation, to let them know how lucrative of a career this is, and think about it. What am I going to invest my life in and my time? I want to invest it in something that's going to be around forever. Trucking is going to be around forever, because it has to be for us to be successful. So challenges ahead of us, obviously, like always, but I think the future of trucking is bright, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's a great industry to be a part of. And one of the things that I just love about the industry is the people. Yes. The people make it what it is. And there are so many amazing people that are passionate about what they do day in, day out, and want to do the right thing, want to be successful, and want to provide great customer service. And that's what it's all about. It's all about keeping America stocked with all the goods that we have. Hey, you guys provide us fuel so we can go on vacation, right? And that's important. That's important to all of us every day. So thank you for all that you all do for the industry. I will see you, Dave, at FFA in a few months with 70,000 students. And it's going to be another fun year promoting the trucking industry. And it's an honor to do so. Congratulations for Usher Transport and for Dave winning grand champion driver for NTTC. And we're excited to see what you're going to get to do this year with that title.
Thank you so much, Lindsey. And I can't wait to see you at the FFA convention. So please come out and see us. It's a great time.
Thanks.
So we want to just thank again our sponsors, and we couldn't do this podcast without you. So thank you to our sponsors. And if you would like to follow us, we're on all of the podcast networks, and you can follow us and subscribe and comment and like our channel. But thank you again, and we hope that everybody has a great rest of your day.
Thank you.